Okay, it is no secret at this point that I have become very disillusioned with anime as a whole, but I want you to keep an open mind for this video. I want you to hear me out entirely before you cast any judgment, and I understand that may be difficult, but I'm requesting that you do it nonetheless. So, I think it is no secret at this point that anime as a whole has been going downhill for quite some time now, and I have been racking my brain for a while trying to think, well, how the heck could we possibly fix this? What could change to make this better? And what I've come to believe is that the best thing that we could possibly do for anime as a whole is much less faithful adaptations. And I know you're like, what? What did you just say? Less faithful adaptations? How could you have even implied this? Well, hear me out, like I said before. Actually, let me blow your mind a little bit more. I think that we should maybe stop adapting manga altogether into anime. So, I've talked about it before, but I think manga adaptations are just inherently flawed. And case in point, I have seen thousands of anime at this point, definitely thousands of episodes of anime, but tons and tons of different series, and not one has been an absolutely perfect adaptation because it can't be. It's not possible. And this is not a problem limited only to anime. This is something that applies to TV shows based on books, movies based on books. They can never be a 100% faithful adaptation because that just does not exist. So here is my suggestion for what anime should do. Anime should either take the route of using manga as just source material, just as a base, and really do its own thing after that, or just be entirely original. And I know people are probably scared at the thought of that. What would anime look like if anime were all entirely original? And I don't really know, because off the top of my head, I can't actually even think of any anime that are entirely original other than maybe what's that one Rooster Teeth anime? Ruby, RWBY. I think that's an anime only thing, but I think this would be worth a shot because at this point anime is obviously going downhill and it's bringing manga down with it. And I'll get more into that later. We are stuck in this strange prehistoric method of trying to animate things, changing as little as possible from manga, but at the end of the day, we need to accept that these are just two inherently different art forms. That's just the reality. They're very different. And I think at this point, what is happening is anime has been declining in quality. That is an objective fact. I don't care what you say. I actually do. Please don't be mean to me. But anime has been declining overall in quality. And what has happened is this weird feedback loop has started to occur where anime has declined in quality, which has then caused manga to decline in quality because manga are now produced with the intent of hopefully being an anime. So manga artists seem to look at what anime is doing and say, okay, I should do that because I hope to get an anime. And so as anime gradually declines, it makes manga gradually decline, which then makes anime decline more. You see what I'm getting at here? Where the feedback loop is created, and that is really become much more apparent in the last, I want to say maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years. We've seen a massive decline in exciting manga. I think I've probably read in the last 2 years 1 or 2 manga that were at all worth actually reading other than just experiencing the same things again and again. Another really big problem that anime has, and I've talked about this a couple times specifically with voice acting related videos, but anime dubs are atrocious, and what dubs should be is the most approachable way to get into anime, right? You've got your normie friend, he doesn't watch anime at all. Well, you can just say, hey buddy, watch Hunter x Hunter, but watch it in English. That way, you don't even have to bother reading subtitles. It can be your own language. Well, problem with dubs is that almost no effort is actually put in them to make them English friendly at all. It is extremely jarring to me, and I'm sure many other people, to hear some guy who's from New Jersey or Boston or something say, hey Miyazaki-chan. No one talks like that, and it's very hard for native English speakers to make that sound natural. And I've actually never even heard it sound natural in a dub. And yet we're stuck in this cycle of, okay, we got to be faithful to the manga. We have to change as little as possible. So we can't change names. We can't change like the names of locations, the names of products. We just have to grin and bear it. And I think at the end of the day, if we went on this less faithful adaptation route, we could solve a lot of problems with English dubs as well, thus making them into the most approachable form of anime that they should be. But as they are right now, they kind of aren't even fulfilling their role because, I mean, they sound weird to a lot of I've had friends that I've said, oh, hey, do you want to watch anime with me? And they're like, yeah, dude, I'll watch some anime. Let's put it on in dubbed. And I'm like, sure, it's not my preference, but I'll do it for you. And then we get to watching the dub and they're like, hey, yo, what the fuck? What is this, bro? This sounds kind of like trash from ass. And I understand that what I'm suggesting would be a relatively difficult transition. At this point, the way that anime is produced is pretty concrete, right? We are currently not making anime, but the way that people are making anime is the way that they have been doing it for decades now, and it's really hard to change things that have been done for decades overnight. I mean, case in point, a lot of the world's problems have been going on for decades, and it's really hard to change them overnight, but I think a good first step would just be trying to use manga only as a base, right? You can still use manga for ideas as a premise, and you can even still capitalize off the name, maybe, but let's stop doing one-to-one adaptations just for a little bit, and let's see where that leads us. That's what I want us to do at this moment. At the end of the day, though, I think that if we continue to be dependent on manga as source material and stick to it as strictly as we do right now, I see a very serious problem occurring in the future of anime, and that is this feedback loop will continue, and in another, 3 years, 5 years, we are going to have some of the most low-quality garbage shit you can possibly imagine. And you're probably thinking, why the hell do I care about something that's going to happen in 5 years? I probably won't even be alive in 5 years. Well, that's kind of a bad way to think about things in life, so stop it, you little gremlin. There's also like a million other things that we could bring up, and this is such a broad topic of how to fix anime. There's so many things that we could bring up. I think a big one is humor. I think humor in anime is genuinely some of the worst shit ever, not even because the jokes are bad necessarily, right? I think a lot of the jokes in anime don't necessarily land very well with Western audiences, and that's just because people from America and people from Japan grow up in very different circumstances. The culture is completely different, so therefore our humor is completely different. But I think one of the problems with humor in anime, and I think I might have talked about this before in a video, this is all sounding kind of familiar, but one of the problems with humor is it's the same jokes. Anime is just doing the same jokes over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where if you've watched like 3 or 4 comedy anime, you've probably already experienced 99% of the jokes that you will. Same with romance. It's going to just be the same thing with a different skin on it. Romance, I genuinely think in terms of anime, romance is dead, bro. Like, what is the point of watching romance anime anymore? They legitimately don't seem to be able to do anything new. It's just been the same thing with different characters, sure, but it's been overall the exact same thing every time. It's either like depressing, stupid Your Lie in April type romance shit, weird harem romance, and it's all just not the vibe. But that's going to do it for this video. That's all I wanted to talk about. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think anime is amazing? Do you think there's anything we can do to fix it? Do you think there's no problem at all? What do you guys think? Also, how do you think the microphone sounds in this video? Because I'm recording using a new audio recording program, and it's about 1,000 times more work. So if it's not noticeably better, I don't ever want to do this again.